Good evening, everyone. This is Anshuman Bhasin, the Secretary of Sundarbans House. We've all collected here to discuss suicide for our event. Uh, the brainchild of Madhugandha Singh. She basically wanted to raise awareness about this issue that plagues society on Suicide Prevention Day. This day is commemorated just to raise awareness about this issue in society, and we're all just going to take turns and talk about our views on this topic one by one. All right, over to you, Madhu.
Yes, basically we are here to interact. So there is no language barrier. You can speak either in English or Hindi, whichever you find suitable, and just talk about it. Today we are going to discuss different aspects of suicide in India and what are the laws that are there, what are the help that is available to all those kind of people who go through this feeling or suicidal thoughts. So first of all, what is suicide? Suicide, as we know, is basically an intentional feeling, basically to end your life. Each suicide is a personal tragedy, I feel, and every month or even every year, more than 1 lakh people commit suicide in our country. There are various cases of suicide, like personal, career problems. There are various problems related to suicide, like sense of isolation, abuse, violence, family problems, or mental disorders, and many more. We are going to discuss about that also. Before that, I just wanted you know, to tell you guys and make you aware about the suicide rates in India. Rate of suicides has been calculated using projected population for non-census years on, and according to the census 2011 report, I guess a total of 1 lakh 39,123 suicides were reported in our country during 2019, and it has been increasing since then. Uh, for the opening, I guess these are all the data that I have, collected from National Crime Records Bureau, and it shows that a 3.4% increase was observed in suicides during 2019 as compared to 2018 and 2017. According to the statistics by NCRB, which functions under the Union Home Ministry, the suicide rates in cities are higher as compared to rural areas, and suicide by hanging, consuming poison, drowning, and self-immolation were prominent. So before we go further, what have you guys? Do you have any idea about the rates of suicide in India? What do you guys think are the I just mentioned some of the um, reasons that led to suicidal thoughts or everything. What are your thoughts? What are the main problems that you guys think are there in our society that led anyone to go through that phase or commit suicide?
Okay, guys, any of you that wish to speak, just raise your hand. Madhu or I will recognize you, and you can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, so first we'll go with Anshuman, then Celine.
Sure, thank you. So I think there are just like anything, like for example, like any other statistic in society, it's not a normal curve, and it's not evenly distributed in all regions of the world. Where I already knew beforehand that Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. So I just looked it up again. It's South Korea, Hungary, and Japan. And basically, a lot of cultural, a lot of cultural attributes and traits, how people live their lives over there, lead to these anomalies, basically. So countries like basically like South Korea and Japan, they have basically 24.7 per 100,000 people commit suicide. So I think it basically comes from South Korea and Japan are known I don't know about Hungary, but South Korea and Japan are known for a culture of overwork, and people basically slog long hours. And it's not just about making money; it's actually culturally expected of people in Japan to work lifelong in a company, and basically give their loyalty to a company before they give loyalty to any person or any other entity. And actually people take that very seriously. In fact, in Japan, you are expected to arrive an hour before your boss comes to the office, and leave an hour after the boss leaves the office, and even the boss works really long hours. So I think when you have a culture like that, and also combine that with the fact that Japan and South Korea, they're countries that are that are steadily seeing their family dynamic completely being destroyed. Like people no longer wish to marry or have children there. In fact, in Japan, it has an aging population uh, because people are no longer interested in getting married and having children. And in fact, there's a very interesting statistic that in Japan, adult diapers actually outsell baby diapers. So that's the point that it has gotten to. I think just the lack of the social fabric that humans have, because when you have a family, right, I think things are much easier. Life goes a lot easier regardless of what problems you have. And you take these countries, right, they're highly developed countries where, like, you're not going to commit suicide because you have a medical problem, or you're going to commit suicide because you're facing shortages of food. Basically people just do to end it, basically, for the lack of a better word. So I think uh, culturally, just also there's this really important statistic that people this was noted by some zoologists, that basically animal species where that are lonely, just have a few or like a single one left, often those animals also commit suicide. So I think it just goes to show, like where in species, and especially in human beings, wherever you have the concept of a social fabric, and like wherever you have that sort of structure, when that falls apart, and when that is not there due to cultural reasons, or whatever the reasons may be, it sort of basically gives does not give people like meaning to live. Also, apart from that, I like all of the human behaviors can be derived from basically two drives. One is the reproductive drive, which basically is basically self survival and survival of the species. People commit every single behavior, and this is just basic on the animalistic level, not going into the new car, the new house, that sort of thing. People do things to survive and make sure that their progeny survives. And I think when that and that sort of gives meaning to people have children, like all of the people that I've talked to that have children say that it's the most meaningful part of their lives. And I think humans are basically wired to find meaning in those things, find meaning in family. And when that is not there, that creates such conditions which can lead to such situations. Yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
Now that you mention, I remember a case in which an employee in Japan got 2 minutes late and he got fired. And everyone in India was like, why does this not happen? We are everywhere late and no one talks about it. That's why we are so backward or anything. And they don't understand what kind of mental pressure or, what kind of pain that person goes through just to, like, 1 मिनट लेट होने की वजह से नौकरी से निकाल देना. Now his whole family is now, under that kind of mental pressure, and these things really led to suicidal thoughts or something like we just Anshuman mentioned. Moving on, Celine, your point, please.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with Anshuman because when people lose material things or like material possessions, maybe like if you lose a job or something, or your business has come down. So if you have a family, you are like trying to get it back up. You have hope that I can do it. I have to do it by any cost, and you do it. But when you're alone, so it becomes like, why are we even doing this? Why you give up very easily, and it leads to more lonely situations, and you become frustrated. You don't have anyone to share it with, and that leads to suicidal thoughts. And so yeah, or even substance abuse. Even like I actually associate substance abuse and those kind of things with suicidal thoughts, because people, just because you don't have suicidal thoughts, but you're using other things to distract yourself or maybe give up or something, so that is also very harmful to your health. It is actually basically harming yourself by using other things other than not immediate threat, but a long lasting threat. So I completely agree with Anshuman there. And also this drive to excel. Many people succeed, and that drive to excel makes them want to do better and better and better. But many people also fail, and they give up very easily. So it is all just about giving up easily, not giving up easily, and fighting till the end. Like uh, like uh, I follow sports very much. So like the one thing about sports persons I like very much is that they never give up. Like like in tennis, you don't give up to the last set you've lost. you know I follow Formula 1, so they don't give up until the last lap, because anything can happen in the last lap. You know you can get an opportunity somewhere, something that uh, that you won't get, like if you won't get if you give up. So that is why I follow sports, and follow the sports, because it gives me the inspiration. And also I encourage many people to follow any sport, because all sports have the same mentality of never giving up and doing your best until either you've succeeded or you've failed. And failing is okay, because you learn many things from that failure to go it to give it a next shot. Yeah, that is my take.
Actually, very nicely put, the connection between the thoughts and sports. Monish, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Madhuvendra. Good, good evening, everybody. This is Manish Sangla, and I am recently. Today I want to talk about the warning signs of suicide. Actually, people don't concentrate on their family. Sometimes such thing happens that people start talking about dying or wanted to killing themselves, or about they are feeling empty or hopeless, or they tell that they have no reason to live. These are generally symptoms of a person who may commit suicide. We should, and there is a, we can see that feel, the person can feel unbearable emotional or physical pain. He might take a mere or short, simple strike, simple pain, but he would feel that it is unbearable for him. It might be just a breakup, a, some less marks in his test, or it might be some other, it just failure in sports or such things, but he took it, he can take it unbearably painful. So we should check out these signals and symptoms that our family members who is maybe seem to be happy, but maybe inside he can be burden of such feelings. He can be a burden. Withdrawing something painful. Actually, the people who think of committing suicide, they become withdrawn, or they close up. They don't close up. They don't talk to their friends. They don't spend time with family. This is the primary symptom, we can say. Mm, Majorly, we can think of if one can just not come out of his room, just kept just stay inside of alone the full day, the full night. This things like that he withdrawn himself from his family. We can take it as a symptom, and we should always see. We should always check for. We should always testify our family members, our friends, to for these symbols because suicide, the person who is doing suicide, who may do suicide, is not somewhere some unique. They are just uh, close to us. We can find them nearby, but we are not. That may be a reason. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nicely put, Munish. Thank you so much. Yeah, we should check upon our friends and our family members time to time about these kinds of symptoms and these things. Anshuman?
Yes, thank you. There is one very important point that Umang has raised, that what are the ethics of, and that also brings us to the ethics of euthanasia, like basically people that do want to kill themselves, all right, but they're not allowed to. So like often people go outside of India, like in many countries it's not allowed, in some countries it is, so they go out of the country to do that. So that's one. I mean, okay, like this whole this suicide law has been in the Indian Penal Code since the British Raj. So really does make me wonder, is it, who are we to stop a particular person? And that's a very good point, and I think we should get to it right at the end of this talk. Like right now if we're discussing suicide, so let's just discuss suicide, and right at the end we can discuss the ethics of suicide and euthanasia together right at the end. So I've just pulled up some statistics, and these statistics are basically the top causes for suicide in India as of 2014. So I see a lot of bankruptcy, marriage issues, um, family problems, illness, um, cause not known, and of course like other causes. But for the most part, it's illness, family problems, marriage related issues, and bankruptcy. And I think like Hmm. I mean, these are definitely really tough positions that people often find themselves in. A lot of people find themselves in, and just like people often say that the person you choose to spend your life with is your most important decision, and if you make the incorrect decision, that can. I mean, we clearly see here in the causes for suicide in India that it can lead to this outcome as well. And yeah, family problems, and then we also have bankruptcy is very bad. Of course, we've also heard because of India's previous the socialist farmer system, farmers have been committing suicides for decades. And that's basically because, like, especially like if you take a farmer's position, there all they have is a small farmer in India. All they have is their land, and also not just farmers, just all of the people in general that commit suicide because of bankruptcy. Not having any money is definitely a big problem in a country like India, where we like the country cannot afford to have a welfare estate of the likes in developed countries in Scandinavia, in Australia, and in United States, where, like, if people are bankrupt, the government can take care of them. You can take unemployment checks, and the government provides stuff like food coupons. But obviously, given the huge population we have, the economics of that does not work out in India. So that's definitely a problem that I don't see a solution to. And of course, there is illness. I think most probably this is usually terminal illness, where people have cancer or they have some sort of illness due to which they're going to ultimately die in the next year or a few months. So they choose to kill themselves instead, choosing that more peaceful death. And yeah, I mean, just wanted to share this statistic with all of you.
Yes, thank you, Anshuman. Besides that, there are also farmers. You mentioned bankruptcy. There are, I think, educational problems is also there because many students are also committing suicide. Besides that, people who are on their deathbed or have like don't have any choice, but they are suffering a lot of pain, also prefer to take sedatives just to give up on their life. Besides that, victims of harsh crime like rapes or any harsh crime, they also prefer to go through suicides, and that's why we have a law in India. What are its benefits or what are its backlogs, we will discuss further. But before that, Celine, you have raised your hand, you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to agree with Muni's. He's not here, I think. Oh, okay, he's here. I also I wanted to agree with his point, like because many a times people who are going through mental health issues don't themselves know that they are going through such issues. Like, okay, they may be feeling sad, and okay, this is normal. They think it is normal, but it is not, and that may not be apparent to the person himself, or if it's not apparent to the person itself, he's not going to go and seek professional support or any help. So it is really really very important for people around us, people around the people who are suffering from mental health issues, be vigilant about these. It can happen to anyone. It can happen to your father, your grandfather, anyone actually. So it is really very important for you uh, to always be vigilant about your loved ones, and to see if there are any significant behavioral changes, or their attitude changes. If anything, if there's anything, you know you don't have to do anything. You just have to go and say, hey, are you okay? Okay, are you fine? How's life? Like normal general stuff. Don't go and sure tell it to them like, you may know, you may be suffering from mental health issues. No, it is not, because that person is more likely than not going to deny that. Okay, so we have to just be there for them, and always be encouraging of anything that they like, not anything that they do, but always be to encourage people, to go and seek, if it's becoming slowly and gradually it is becoming apparent that there is some problem. You have to talk to them, or you need to do something. It like there are many different circumstances, and not everything is suitable to every circumstance, but it always becomes apparent what we can do to help someone. And we should always look around us, rather than just that is why I don't like digital media, or talking to people through media, because we are not having that connect. We're just talking on video calling for like 5 minutes, and the person is on their best behavior in that 5 minutes, but we don't know what's happening in the other time. So that connect is important. The social connect, and people talking to each other physically is really important. And which is why there was a very huge scare between psychologists and psychiatrists and people who are working in this who are working for this sector. They had a huge scare when all these lockdowns happened, because people who are suffering from mental health issues don't have that safety net of of their loved ones, of their families, their friends. So it is very important that we look after each other more than anything else. And also, responding to Umang's question, I seriously don't think it is a crime, because mental in India, the biggest problem I think is we don't consider mental health as another health issue. Mental health is like totally a taboo subject. It cannot happen to us. We are some the people who do go through those issues are some, some very different people. They are like aliens or something, but it is not actually. So because of that thought process in India, people, we don't actually give importance to mental health, which is why it is not considered on par with physical health. You can fall sick, and you can be ill, you can have a fracture or something, but why can't you have mental health issues? Why not? Brain is also a part of our body. It is our body part. So uh, why not? So that, I think that is one of the reasons why we don't have such why it is still considered a crime. I think there are many talks right now going on of exempting, like not exempting, like taking it out as a crime, to change that law or something. I don't know what's the progress on that,
Yeah, yeah,
but
decriminalized as of
yeah,
20.
decriminalizing suicide. Uh, so I was very happy to read all of that, because it is time that we decriminalize such things, because it is not a crime, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, true, true. Everything during the lockdown, people staying alone and everything, that kind of mental pressure, watching everything sad around, like people getting sick, people falling dead, everything just makes you more vulnerable. So,
Also,
yeah, true.
the financial issues, because many people lost
Exactly.
their jobs in some in such things,
Exactly.
and people are looking around. People's jobs are being lost, and loved ones are being are dying. So that takes a huge toll on your mental health. So it is not a problem. You have to speak out if you think you are facing such issues. Actually, a
Yeah.
normal person can also have a talk with a psychologist. Actually, even a normal person can go, anything, anytime when we speak to such people, like psychologists or psychiatrists, we tend to learn a lot of things. That therapy sessions are actually very helpful to even a normal person. So it is not a problem. It's not any, like, any disease or something.
Yes, Moniz.
Yeah, I was thinking about the question. There is very big problem with the question, how are you? Just think about it. When I was learning language, I had been taught to reply with, I am fine. This is only reply we have been taught for the question, how are you? When somebody asks, we just don't, never, we can, we used to tell that I have fever. We can say I have pain in my leg, but we never say that I am not feeling mentally good. I just, this is not part of our culture. Why is this so? This is
Yes, yes. You like really correctly pointed out. Like we have never thought I'm not fine, I'm not well. We are always taught to say I am fine. So yeah, these are some things that we need to change. And also, Sundarban, yeah, Anshuman, you mentioned that suicide is now decriminalized, but I guess they have criminalized it again. So suicide in India is a crime right now. Um, yes, Anshuman.
Yeah, I just checked. It's in 2017 they passed the mental health.
Yes, and in 2020, around 2020 sometime, it's criminalized again according to section 309 of IPC.
Is that
Uh,
so?
yes, according to section 309 in Indian Penal Code, attempt to suicide is a crime. Whoever attempts to commit suicide and does any act towards the commission of such offense shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year. लाइक 1 ईयर इन लाइक जेल हो सकती है अगर सुसाइड कमिट करोगे तो और बच गए.
Okay, let me look that up. Meanwhile,
Yes,
I pulled up another interesting statistic. Like I think Celine mentioned suicide among students, or was it Madhu?
yes,
So
yes, go ahead.
yeah, so I just looked up the teenage suicide rate, and it seems that India has the highest. Think, is this just Asia or is this the whole world? And it has around 11 per 100,000. So 11 लोग 1 लाख में. basically uh, this is teenage suicide only, and most of it is attributed to academic pressure. And I think uh, we're all Indian students from Indian households. We know what kind of pressure Indian parents put on their children, and it's I think it's pretty clear what this can lead to. In fact, I do know of a case too, but I don't want to go into the details. And yeah, it was pretty much the same case. The person couldn't keep up with the academic pressure, and decided to do it. And I feel, yeah, I think this kind of pressure that just like I think I see an analogy between the societal pressure that the Japanese society puts on Japanese men. It's the same kind of pressure that Indian parents put on their children to perform really well, and what the rewards will be if you perform well, and what the consequences will be if you don't perform well. So I think that's really got to stop. That's horrible. And I think that for the most part comes from the fact that India started out as we just gained independence, started out as a socialist country, not much employment. So I think parents putting that sort of pressure is comes from definitely comes from a good intention at heart. Of course, those parents definitely don't want their kids to commit suicide, but I definitely think that given the current situation, people need to adapt their mindset, and no longer like put that kind of pressure on their kids. And I think that would definitely save those 11 out of 100,000 students a year in India.
Yes, truly said. And I think now the scenario is changing basically. Not only parental pressure from the college or school, pressure is coming from that place also. Also, in India, it's like if you want to take science or you want to study maths, you can't take maths only. You have to take physics, chemistry, and everything else with it also. So the new educational policy also, I think, would be a game changer kind of thing, that would allow the student just to study what he or she wants to study, and not any extra kind of burden subject that they have added with it. Yeah. So moving on, Utkarsh, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, to continue that point, I would like, yeah, as Anshuman was saying that the rate of the suicide among the students have drastically increased. Even no, the lot of not lot of, but a number of people in my known or known of known have committed due to the just mere because they were not able to perform well in the 10th exam or maybe 12th exam. I don't think that these academic pressure, I can't imagine how they feel. Like maybe it is due to the COVID that they have been residing in house every day and night, do not have any kind of social interaction with each other, which may have been a crucial factor to trigger that feel of loneliness and to do that. Yeah, I'm not worthy, and lot of hopes are there because people are always watching you out there, because when you are at school you have a lot of community, you discuss with people and then you relax yourself. Yeah, like other people are there with me. But when you talk, when you are in the home and people are just watching you, and you know, in Indian household, in this in our Indian family, what is the scene is that if you padhoge likhoge to banoge nawab, and khiloge kudoge to banoge kharab. That major thing that is quite prevalent. And when this COVID this came, that now students are always in the eyes, under the eyes of the, under the vigilance of their uh, parents. So while they are studying whole day is not possible. And when they try to do some extra activity, they are always scolded. Ki, what are you doing? What are the stuff you have to do? You do not have. We are not asking you to do this stuff. We are not asking you to do any household work. So you should focus on your study. Focus on study. But yeah, there's a limit to what kind of study we can take in. Like there's everything. So because of that, and since they are, and plus what is happening, that we all know how the online education has changed the education system. Like no People who are not studying are now gaining marks. The people who are studying still are not able to marks, because we know how they are getting marks. So because of that, they are these students who are actually dedicated but still not able to get through what they are putting efforts and not getting uh, through the efforts, has made them feel out lonely. And since they cannot discuss, because when they discuss with the people, since in our family, our parents also have the same mentality that you have to deal your stuff with your own self, you have to figure it out your own self, nobody's there to going to help you. If you have to study, you have to figure yourself. They tell you how to, you need to study, but nobody tells you how to study, how to approach the things. And if we are not able to get through those stuffs, then we technically suppress and get distress of it, and sees that we are not worthy. And then finally we get to the that there's no nothing, or there's no use of me to stay in the home. What should I do? And I should just end up with my life, and the whole problem of the life will be ended. But I think this should not be. This can be overcome by vigilance. Definitely, the parents nowadays. But as Madhuganda was suggesting, that new policy system would help. But I really think that how it would transform, cause this is not just can be done by the change in education system. The schools should improvise. I don't think that many schools would offer, like, you want geography, you want chemistry, you want social study, you want sociology, come to our school, I will provide you. Because we know that the schools are not paying that much to their employees, hence we are not getting that much quality. And school would definitely go for the stream wise. Whatever the policy changes, again, the mentality that has deep seated in our mind, that if you become an engineer, or you become a doctor, or you become a CA, then you are only something, or otherwise else you are nothing. You have to struggle hard. So changing the education policy doesn't, according to me, will not solve. What will solve is the promoting the thought inside all the generation among the colleges, that you have what career opportunities you have, like through your passion. If people know what the career opportunities they have with their passion, then nobody is going to be jobless or be that depressed because they do not know anything. People are excelling, because the only distress when you come through the this feeling is that when you feel that you are left out and the whole world is going ahead of yourself, and you have been left out too much that you cannot now buck up. So there's nothing for you left, and then you again became irritated and start keep yourself moving away from the society. Because the more you interact, you get to know people are moving ahead. All those socials we get to know, like if a student drops out for a NEET and then sees his or her classmate is now in Mauritius, or doing something in the in foreign, or doing something good degree, and now he's there. Now I'm a dropout. When will I get into college? When will I get graduated? What stuff I am having? And again, for 1 year you wait, and again you do not clear, then again you wait, and these things keep accumulating in yourself. You do not talk stuff with your friends that yaar main kyun drop kar raha hu, like I'm not able to get through, and people are still pushing that you need to go through doctor cause you cannot do anything else. Our family is middle class, you need to do this, or otherwise there is no hope, and you will end up. And what word is given up, like you will end up like us. Like parents are giving example, if you don't do stuff you will end up like us. That they are themselves portraying that we are not worthy, so you have to do something. So the only support, the moral support, is through the parents, and parents are saying that we are not successful. Hence, if you do not do anything else, you are also not successful. This thing keeps you, totally demotivated, and finally you think, "Ki, look, right now I'm not able to do this. I'll gradually end up like my parents. So what's the use of, doing this? We should go and end our life." This should be definitely watched. This mentality should be definitely watched among the society to avoid this kind of things. For now, I would like to speak this much.
Yes, yes. All the points were very important and relatable. Also, you mentioned that तुम्हें कुछ नहीं करना तुम बस पढ़ो. That makes them also, very much dependent on their parents. And when the time comes, they are not prepared for the outer world at all. What they know are the basic school knowledge and everything, and the time comes, they are not prepared. So that also affects a person. Okay, thank you, Utkarsh. Anshuman, yeah, you have raised your hand.
I think Celine raised her hand before me. Do you want to go?
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Salim?
I
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I also like agree to your point, and like the basic statistics that you gave before this discussion, like Japan, South Korea, and India must be like the in the top countries which have like the most suicides, because we have so much population and so less employment. So like for every like every seat of a job, you have like 10 people standing there, so you're constantly on the edge, and when you're constantly on the edge, your mental health definitely takes a toll upon yourself. So uh, that is why countries like these have so much people having pressure on them, and that is why many people don't cope with that pressure and then ultimately go and uh, do a suicide. So I think, yeah, so countries like these will always have a disadvantage on that area. And secondly, the parents banking on their children, that is a huge thing here, like in India. And like mostly our parents, like always the one generation will always expect their next generation to do better than themselves, and they they are always like that is the fact. They are like that is the fact, which is not many times, because anything can happen. So uh, yeah, so that is also a problem, like not a problem, because like no, not parents are not like purposefully doing that. They are also seeing the competition on the other hand, and then they are they want their child to be in the mix, which encourages some people and discourages some others. So it is all about understanding some person and figuring out ways to encourage them. Some people get told off and then they encourage themselves. They are like self encouraging people. So they can when they are down, and when they are like when their backs are against the wall, they will find any way to excel. While some people need constant encouragement, constant feedbacks, constant positive feedback that you're doing well, come on, you can do it, a little more, and then they gradually increase and gradually proceed and gradually succeed. So it is all about understanding what type of person you're dealing with, and talking to them, and finding ways to motivate each other is what I was intending to say.
Yes, yes. And the line between, the encouragement and the pressure is very thin, the parents put. So they need to be aware about that also. Yeah, Anshuman, go ahead. After that, we will discuss why suicide is a crime in India and should it be. Before that, we take Anshuman's point. Yeah, Anshuman.
Sure. So, just like a tangent off of the previous discussion we were having about how these countries that have high suicide rates, when I also have statistics on what their average incomes are as immigrants to the United States. I wasn't able to find other ones, but let's just say that being in America is like a level playing field for everyone. Lots of opportunities, lots of money to be made. If you're hardworking, you're going to be rich. Uh, all of these countries where like there is that societal pressure that parents put on their kids to study, like India is one of them, China is one of them, Japan is one of them, Korea is definitely one of them. These kids, like, they perform well in school, they also go on to have very successful lives. And I think compare that, like if you're living in that such a community, what the bar already is for basic performance. There's this joke that this Asian dad, this kid was telling his Asian dad that I got hepatitis B. He's like, why didn't you get hepatitis A? So it's like that deeply entrenched that you must be a straight A student if you're the Chinese student or the Indian student. So the bar for hard work, and it's hard work because it's hard work when you're not interested in certain things, like in certain activities. If you're already passionate about it, it's not work. So just the bar to force yourself to do things that you really don't want to do, that basically suck the life out of you, is already too high. So it's not surprising that that there are those people who take that blueprint given by their parents, become very rich, and then on the other hand you have people who do not want to do that, keep doing that till they end themselves. And yeah, and I was also going through certain stats on which countries have the lowest suicide rates. And a lot of these blue zones keep coming up. A lot of these places where like for example Greece, there's this island named Okinawa in Japan, where people have really long lives, and it seems these places have very low suicide rates. Also the island of Sardinia in Italy. um, I'm talking about rates, not pure suicide. So that is percentage wise adjusted. So it seems to me that in general, wherever life is more comfortable and there is less of a rat race, that's where people are going to commit the least suicide. So if I were uh, the god of preventing suicide, I would send my followers to one of these island nations. Yes, I think Puneet has wants to say something.
My God, this has been a tremendous session. Seriously, there has been emotion in some of your talks. I guess some people are actually troubled. There are people who are maybe worried that they might know somebody who might be troubled, and they're speaking about them as a first person. Wait, let me turn on my camera. So, hang on. Can you? There I am. So, we have just a couple of minutes. So, I guess Anshuman and myself will be dropping out for another meeting at 5. Okay. Some of the things that you guys discussed, have you ever stopped to think that it's culturally acceptable in some societies to commit suicide? In fact, the British law, which was different for India, the one that we still follow in large majority, criminalized suicide because of the ongoing practices that were there. For example, sati. Okay, there's a whole lot of history to that. We have not yet reconciled with the history. We have not yet reconciled with our current society. Okay, so the English law also protected. The English were one of the founders of slave trade, colonial slave trade, right? They turned Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean into all slave routes. Okay, they had a special law put in that saying that even though abetment of suicide is crime, but if a slave commits suicide, the master cannot be responsible, cannot be brought to court. Okay, so when you make rules like this, you confuse the whole society. I've attended some sessions with a gentleman from ISKCON. We were waiting for a flight, and and there was a Buddhist gentleman there who joined us, and we were talking about this euthanasia. Somebody mentioned about medical euthanasia, and at that time there was a case, very famous case in Supreme Court of an Indian terminally ill patient requesting medical euthanasia, and saying that they didn't want to forge the documents and fool the public. They wanted the legal right, because my life is my life. State does not own it. I should have my own choice. Just like abortion is the choice of the mother or the father together, my own life is also my choice. That case didn't have a chance of winning in our society, you see. Okay, so that's one. Secondly, you talked about the law, right? Section 306, 309. 306 is abetment, 309 is attempted. Okay. Now, previously, let's say a young guy, 16-year-old, slashes his wrist. Okay. He had a bad relationship, he had a fight with his parents, or he didn't do well in exams, couldn't get admission. Okay. Or maybe because of him, the family lost all their savings, whatever. Or, right? Many different cases. The court would do one thing. If the police did not take the bribe and brought him to court, in that case, the court had the right to punish him, putting that person in jail with murderers and criminals for the next 10 years. Is that right? Plus, they could fine him, that he has to pay a fine for attempting suicide. That law still has not been repealed. In over 200 reports given by the our law council, several of them mention that this should be repealed since the 70s. It has not been. Okay? Because it allows the administration to have a hold over the society. They can use that to control, manage the situation. Okay? But a new law that was brought in, they added a section 115 in the Medical Health Act. As I think Madhuganda mentioned that, or somebody mentioned that.
Yes, sir.
That
15,
says,
115A and
right. So
115A.
115 says that you cannot at all prosecute or punish a person who needs mental health care. So the mental health protection protects them blanket from all kinds of prosecution. Okay, so that is a very good step we have taken, but we are still far away. All right. Okay, one last thing. I think Monish mentioned this about we should not shy away from therapy, psychologists, right? So I'm also a counselor. I'm a certified counselor. I have lost a student of mine. Okay, I lost somebody who gave up their life, and till that time I used to counsel students. But the day I lost somebody, it hits differently. You suddenly feel that empathy for a doctor who loses a patient. You suddenly feel empathy for people who have caused hurt for others, right, unknowingly or because of capabilities or whatever. When you lose somebody, you realize, oh my god, they had reached that state. They had reached a state that I can never empathize with. I cannot say, oh my god, so sorry, your son, your daughter committed suicide. It means nothing. Suicide comes at a state when there is absolutely darkness. Okay? Whether it be for studies or for money or for whatever reason. I've had, we were sitting in councils where victims, he and she victims, okay, within the family, abused by family members, have attempted suicide. Because the people they would turn to for help are the ones abusing them. What do you do in that case? So this whole thing is a cultural thing, you see. We are taught suicide is normal. Our gods have, in mythology, our gods have committed suicide. Right? So it's confusing. I guess keep the conversation going. I think the best we can do as students is to keep the conversation and dialogue alive. Right? And should you know anybody or yourself feel the need to talk to somebody, please reach out. Okay? Our campus has services and very, very good counselors. I've had the opportunity to speak to some of them. They are really professional. They will not even mention the number of students they are talking to. They will value your privacy so much. Okay? All right. Secondly, in your house, get somebody to handle these cases. We have actually elected a student welfare officer, a secretary. In addition to our existing secretaries, we have elected a secretary for welfare and well-being. They will be trained by these counselors. Okay? So maybe that's a long-term plan you can take as leaders of your student government. Make a small difference, And going by statistics, if we are now with the new batch, we are close to about 8,000-9,000 students, we are going to lose some of them. Okay, we have lost about 50 students in IITs as per statistics, and some faculty. IIT, just IIT, different IIT campuses. So things are not rosy. Okay, all right. It's time for us. I guess we are already a few minutes late. Back to you, Anshuman. Back to you, Madhuganda. Thank you for organizing this.
Thank you, Puneet sir. Just wanted to ask you about the IITM Wellness Center thing. We were asked in the beginning to compile a list of students who are going through depression, and we did, and we also reached out accordingly. but we weren't able to successfully get a response on the ITM wellness thing and also the counseling thing. We were informed about these things in the orientation, and there is one group leader whose group member is going through certain issues and would definitely like
Okay,
to be a part
okay.
of it.
I'm so sorry that timely attention was not given. We will approach the dean himself, Nilesh Vasa. He's in charge of the center. Okay, he's overall boss. Can we connect today? Maybe later, Anshuman?
Sure,
Okay, I
sir.
don't
Sure.
need details. I don't need contact information. Nothing like that. Okay, I don't even need a list of your members. Nothing like that. We are going to put you in touch with somebody who can help you. Okay, and if it is suicidal, Madhukanda, Bharti had shared one NGO's name. Okay, she
Yes, sir. Yes,
looked at Madhuganda's message and she offered some help. Bharti was very impressed that we are doing this. So I've shared that NGO's name with Madhuganda last night. So please use that facility. All right, you can
sure, sir.
definitely share that. And Anshuman, anything else? I mean, if this is important, we will deal with this today. All right,
Mostly just two students, and this was just
today.
a few months back.
Okay,
Yeah, we can
that is
talk about it.
very late. Even hours are late. Okay, I'm so sorry. If a person was bleeding, we would rush them to the hospital. As someone said, physical hurt is visible, mental is not. So please, I'm so sorry for those students. We will fix this today. Okay, all
Thank
right,
you, sir.
sure. Anything else? Can I drop and join the other meeting?
Yes, sir. Thank you so
You
much
know,
for your.
Thank you,
you're
sir.
always welcome. I love attending student sessions. Learn so much from you guys.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
God bless you. Bye bye.
Okay, so now sir mentioned that government. We all know that government made suicide a crime. Let us go in the detail why they did that. Their proposal was कि according to Article 21, the Constitution provides us the right to live, and it doesn't allow us to right to commit suicide or take our own life. And that's what the it's all about. Article 21, like they presented, mentioned that it's about giving life. It's about having the freedom of life. It's not about having the freedom to take one's life. What do you guys think? Sir mentioned many points. Do you guys think it's right? Yeah, go ahead, Anshul.
Yeah. Thank you. So,
You are muted.
They're not audible
Anshuman,
actually.
muted. Hmm.
oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, just wanted to. I think this is very much connected at the hip with Utkarsh's point. Umang's point. So Umang mentioned like should it like again is should it be a crime? Should it not be a crime? Should it be negative? Should it be positive? And you know like I feel like when people who want to get euthanasia, they go to extreme lengths, like on like they're actually trying to like that Supreme Court case. They're actually trying to their whole point is it's my life. It's that it's basically my life, and who is the world to tell me what to do with it. And I think where we have problems, like for example, like a student is facing academic pressure, those problems can be eased. And I feel, but what about such cases, like for example that Supreme Court case where that person has a terminal illness, and really does not want to go through that painful death and wants to do it himself. Who are we to stop that person? And that's just again a philosophical question of ethics that people need to explore. Of course, whatever I personally feel is everyone's going to feel a different way about it. But yeah, just a thought. Yeah, go ahead, Celine.
Yeah, actually, I completely agree with you because there are like we can only do so much to encourage someone, to go through the medication, or if it's cancer, so to go through the chemotherapy and stuff like the it's a very painful treatment. No wonder about that. So you can only encourage someone that you can heal after this, and everything will be okay. And but for someone like for people who are very like at a very serious stages of cancer or any other terminal illness, and they are very sure that there will be death, but it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you don't want to live until then, and suffer that pain every day. So yeah, I agree with that. Like there are some compelling cases, and there's no doubt about that we need to discuss more of these cases. And many of these things do like that is what until we don't have conversations about it, we're not going to have any uh, discussions, or we're not going to have any sort of understanding of what we need to do in such situations. If it's like how do we motivate a person who does not want to live? Like we can do our very best. There are people who can if we show some inspiration to them, they can want to live more. They will be able to fight the treatment, and fight the disease by taking the treatment. But there are some people who we can't, as much as we want to, we can't encourage them, or we can't motivate them enough. So what do we do then? So all these discussions are very needed right now in the society, because there are many many more cases right now of like cancer cases are increasing by the day. And that is true about every other terminal illness, I believe. Cancer is something that we listen to on a daily basis because the people are talking about it. There are so many different, like AIDS, people don't talk about AIDS. Or like there is certain death in AIDS. So but what kind of treatment is required? All these things, that these are topics that are never discussed in the society. So it is very important that we talk about all these things.
Okay, yeah. And now that you mentioned, government's other argument was like there are different kinds of helplines. There are student helpline numbers, there are women helpline numbers, there are farmers helpline numbers who are there to help you out with any kind of situation you are going through. Uh, so, what's your take on that? Are they helpful, or you just mentioned that if a person doesn't have any kind of willing to live, how are they gonna help it? Right, Celine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And actually, I don't think those helplines work a lot. Like not just like in the physical sense because they don't connect. Not just that, because like I said before, physical closeness and that social connect is very very important. You can't just talk to a person on a phone and inspire someone to not think of committing suicide or not attempting suicide. So that if you go and physically meet a counselor or a person or even your close friend, that is actually much much more effective than just talking to phone, or talking to someone on the phone, some stranger on the phone. You don't even know that person. Like so it sounds like pity then. And like the last thing that someone wants, like someone who is who is having mental issues wants is pity, because no one wants that. So we want every, like, empathy is important, sympathy is not. So we need to empathize with someone, and that I think cannot happen through phone calls or something. Yes, there may be cases of people who have been helped by phone calls, but it does not like help. I don't think it helps in a very major way. So it is it will be very helpful if every hospital has a counselor, so that people who are having treatments can go to them, or talk to them. Or even that counselor can, just as doctors visit all patients every day, there's a round, like doctors have rounds on patients. Why can't a counselor have a round on patients? Like every, like that counselor can talk to every person, just chat about normal things, not even about the disease they are going through. Just chat about normal things, feel make them feel normal, because that is one thing you don't get in a hospital. You don't, like, you're like this some person some different person and people are coming to see you. So that is about physical, the people who are in treatment or something. uh, so yeah, so why can't we have counselors on hospital, in hospitals? Why can't we have counselors in schools, in coaching? Nowadays there are many counselors in schools and coaching institutes and such. We have to encourage that more, so that people can go to someone when they are having doubts in their heads, or when they're having problems or difficulties. Yeah.
Exactly, and this is a kind of topic which people find it very difficult to open about. It needs a lot of courage to come out with it, and and this can't be very helpful on a phone call or some kind of helpline. People can't be open about it very much on those things. Besides that, there is a study basically that small number of countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Malaysia, they are Anshuman already mentioned that they have the law of criminalizing attempt to commit suicide. Large number of countries like United States, England, they have decriminalized it, and the thing is that less suicides are there, and the country that has criminalized suicide has more. So it's not helping by anyone by criminalizing suicide. If would it अगर ये help करता तो basically suicides तो कम होने चाहिए थे हमारे country में, but it's not helping at all. We have more suicides than those countries. Yeah, Salim.
Yeah, and there is this can be a whole different discussion right now, but there is a lot there is a real need to change all these archaic laws that we have right now in the country, that has been the precedent of the British law, and then some of them have been converted, but we need to look up at many of these archaic laws, because there are many laws which have been banned in England now, which have been decriminalized in England now. So and we are still going with it. So there are many things that we need to do as a as a judicial system. We need to improve. There was talk about uh, people who've gone through rapes, harsh crimes, victims of harsh crimes committing suicide. Most of them is because they were not either they were not seeing any justice for the crimes that were committed against them, or they are that justice is taking very long, and they are being targeted or being being threatened by those actual perpetrators of those crimes. So that's the judicial system needs a major overhaul there, so that people so that cases are wrapped up as soon as possible, and people who are at least people those sections of victims of harsh crimes, at least those sections will be justified maybe, or such cases can come down. It's all about finding some areas and treating every area, because not every patient does not have the same solution. So we have to tap into areas of mental health and do something about them, so that such cases come down, and then slowly every type of cases come down. That is my opinion. Yeah, Kunal.
Exactly. And Umang also mentioned external validation and comparison. Yeah, that is also one important aspect of suicide. Yeah, Kunal, go ahead, please.
Like I mentioned in the chat, I just wanted to talk about, let's say, the effect of social media that teenagers, or I would say people in the age of maybe 16 to 25 experience. Because I read a paper long back. It was a research paper on psychology. Like you can go to Google and just search social media promotes depression or something, and you'll get scholarly articles on Google Scholar, around 10 to 15, 20 articles, sorry, research papers on how social media negatively impacts the minds of the users. So the greatest thing that happens on social media is there is a sort of spread of a lot of negative content. Like, for example, you will see way more
negative content rather than positive content, or rather you can check for yourself that any page which uh, promotes being sort of cool, or like the worst thing that I have seen on social media is the promotion of being sad or being depressed is seen as cool by a lot of people nowadays. Whenever people are sad, or whatever negative emotions they feel, it is sort of promoted in the sense that they uh, this is my personal opinion, like people start making jokes about their own mental health, looking at it like something like it is normal. uh, you go to any page, or let's say any Instagram page, or I've seen a lot of them which promote themselves as sad pages for teenagers, or depressed pages for teenagers, or something like that, and they have hundreds and thousands of followers, and they are always greater than, I would say, any page which promotes positivity. They are always more than any page which promotes any sort of positive mindset or anything. Not that I'm saying there should be blind optimism, but at the same time, the amount of negativity that I have seen being promoted and looked at as being cool is very concerning in my opinion. That's all I have to
Yeah,
say.
great point. Great point. Also, it helps them. They keep doing that because it helps them gain followers. And I don't know why people follow those kind of contents just to, yeah, social media instills the thought of FOMO against. Yes, correctly said. Okay, yeah, Anshuman has raised his hand.
Yes, thank you. So just on Kunal's point, I think it has less to do with the ratio of negative pages versus positive pages, and more to do with how people think their life should be compared to their friends. And I think the correlation on that and all of the studies on that are pretty clear. The I think it was like for every 1 hour you spend on social media, the graph, the graph really goes up, like of the depression level. And uh, the lower in test subjects in a lot of these studies, the lower the social media usage, the happier they tend to be. And I'm personally not on any social media. I just have like a burner Instagram account on which I post memes, and just like some 700 people follow it around the world who I don't even know. Just a very few friends know about it. And so I think other than like just comparing your lives with other people, it's also about narrative building that people are that people are into. They're sort of putting out this image of their life. Like for example, on Instagram you've got the most happening life. On LinkedIn you've got the most professional life. On Twitter you've got, say, the most politically correct life. And on but then in real life, are you really all of those different people? No, right? And so I think that and then again, when people see that, it's like, human nature, monkey see monkey do. People want to be involved in all of those activities and want to be doing all of those things that the people around them are doing. And then also, like when people reach out to you on social media, they're asking you, okay, what are you doing with your life? Where have you gotten? It's more of a it's more of a it's not actually genuinely wanting to know about people, especially when it's people who you're acquainted with and not really close friends with. What they really want to know is, like, are you ahead or behind of me in life according to their terms? And that puts a lot of pressure on people. Like you take people like Sam Walton. All right, he started Walmart in his 50s. The guy who started McDonald's, Ray Kroc, in his 50s and his 60s. Same with Colonel Sanders. It's very much possible to not have, according to whatever definition, not have your life in order till then. And social media puts a pressure on people to portray like they've got their life sorted. And the thing is, everyone's faking it. Everyone's faking it. and I definitely don't like that fakeness, and that's why I'm not on social media. And yeah, I think also one more thing, just the act of keeping up with people. I don't think humans are wired to have 5,000 friends. All right, like just liking every single person's photo and commenting on every single person's photos, so you get the social validation of getting their likes back. And just, okay, I just put up my DP, I gotta have at least 200 likes on it, otherwise I'm gonna feel bad. That's the kind of inherent thinking that goes on when you're on social media, whether you realize it or not. And yeah, and it's not like humans lived in close knit, tightly bound communities of not more than say 150 to 300 people. All right, and then the bigger the number gets, it's no longer a group or a subgroup within a group, then it's a city where not everyone knows each other. All right, so I think just the main point is that also there is a lot of science that goes behind those notification buttons and those likes. They have full-time psychologists who work on it, who try to make it more attractive. They use the color red to attract attention. And it's basically like social media, of course they are incentivized to create to increase your use time on their platform. All right, and not just them, all the social media platforms, basically everyone is competing for your attention. And but what do you really want to do you want to be on Facebook 8 hours a day, Instagram 8 hours a day, Twitter for 4 hours a day? I think for me, I love finance and investing, and I spend my entire day reading annual reports, and that's what I love. That's what makes me feel the most fulfilled. And if I know, I realized this early on, if I'm on social media, I don't have time for the things I love, and I do not lead a fulfilled life. And that's why I quit social media. And it's sort of like I quit it right before I entered college. And in college, for like the beginning, the first half of the year, I was sort of like a social pariah because I was not on social media. All right, and a lot of my close friends used to like I never thought I'd get peer pressure to start a social media account. But there was peer pressure. This friend of mine is like, dude, why do you not have a social media account? And again, I think the reason he was putting that pressure on me was because he had good times with me and he wanted to tag me in his stories and his pictures. And again, people just want to show the world, hey, you know what, I just went to Manipal Lake, I had this excellent meal, I went to these waterfalls with my squad. And it's just signaling all the time, and I'm not cool with that. So yeah, I just if you ask me, don't be on social media. You'll lead a much happier life, much more fulfilled life. You'll get to focus on things that you actually love, and you won't have to constantly answer your friends, aunties, uncles about what you're doing in your life. And trust me, you'll have your life more figured out than they have. Yeah, those are just my 2 cents. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a reason why these social media platforms are free now. They took all our time. That's what their source of income is basically. Also, you mentioned like there is a community on social media that helps you through all the time. That's not okay. A friend to all is a friend to none. So yeah, that's the point. Salim, you want to say something?
No, like on social media, like it is actually Sharma ji ka beta in like virtual world. You know, in previous times we had our parents telling us like, see that Sharma ji ka beta, he is doing so much good, and here we are because we need that. You know, as humans, it is actually normal human tendency to go and validate yourself that I am better than this person, I am better than this person. Okay, which can be encouraging to some people. Some people actually go ahead and succeed when they see that they see some other people getting ahead of them. They are like fiercely competitive people. So it may actually help some people, but it does not help. So it is actually about knowing yourself. How do you respond to such things? Do you feel depressed or disappointed that, are you like, are you constantly seeking that competition to encourage yourself, or are you constantly looking for that competition to find excuses? So it 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 depends on people. So it is all about finding your own thing. If social media does not does not agree with you, you should get out of it. And if it does agree with you, stay on it, do whatever you like. People are there, people actually endorse their brands, they do business on social medias. So it is like a boon and a curse to every person. So it is all about finding what agrees with you and sticking to those things, and removing everything else that pushes you, depresses you, or pushes you into uh, thinking like, wow, what am I doing in this life? Because when these thoughts come up, that is when things get real. Things get bad, not
Yes,
real.
exactly. Advi, yeah.
Yeah, hi guys. I was listening to you guys talking, so I thought I shouldn't be joining this meeting. But then I thought, okay, if there is someone who actually might be in need of some real inputs about suicide, I would be able to help. So I lost someone real close to me in my family this year to suicide, and I want to talk from the victim side of the story. It is not easy to for people who are going through this, as in why it is not a crime is one point, but how to approach from individual perspective, how do you approach this problem is one thing. So the society on the whole, with time, we're talking about social media, we're talking about people being bullied and stuff, but everybody at one point has taken pleasure in putting down someone, or everybody has done this mistake of nothing kind of a pride. Some people, maybe the other person was so mean, he might be blunt, he might not know anything, and he is talking about something, and you want to prove a point that he's wrong, and the way it is getting conveyed these days is very harsh, be it in social media or in real life or at workplace or at college. So at some point, everybody has taken pleasure in proving the other person wrong, and it builds up. I've seen uh, this person suffer. He was very close to me, he was my family member, so I've seen him suffer. He was probably your guy, I mean age of you guys, so it was not easy for him. And I wouldn't say it is just the social media, it is the kind of support the society, as a society, that we provide. So it is not necessary that you always you try to hurt others if you are irritated or if you don't like the point. So we stopped being kind. At some point that kindness has reduced in mankind, probably the technology or the distance between people. I don't know why we're not being polite to each other. I really don't understand that, but it really has an impact, for the people, the family members who face that. When people are in front of you laying without, lifeless, and in a state where you can't imagine them, and when you open the door and you know that they've been lying like that for days together, you can't sleep in the night. You really struggle to get back to where you were, and your life is not going to be the same again. So from the perspective individually, because we cannot change social media, because we cannot talk about big changes when we make the same mistakes ourselves. At some point of time we would have. It is a it's a human tendency to take pleasure in winning an argument or winning a battle. And as a generation we have actually gone much ahead of time, that we totally forgot that there is a humane side of everyone that we have to be considerate about. And I think that is one point where we should be considerate. And calling it a crime is definitely not okay, because depression is a disease. You see, it is not that the person is willingly doing it. You don't when someone's going through depression, they don't even know it. To be precise, you see them sleepless. Sometimes they say, I don't like their work. You're just thinking that they are just not happy with their work and it'll get okay. But you have to look through it, at least to your close ones. When you see people who are close to you who are going through these stuff, so be considerate. Spend some time, even if they say it 100 times or 1,000 times, be there, sit and listen to them at least for 5 minutes a day, because they reach out to you. It's not like people in depression don't give signs. They reach out to you in many ways because they don't know what they're going through. They're not able to express it to you. If it is a body pain, or it's hurting you somewhere, you will be able to explain what's going on with it. But if it's mental, and from experience I'm telling you, it's not possible for a person to give signs more than this. They will go sleepless, they will sleep for a long time, they will say I'm not okay, and we might think they're just in need of attention, but that 5 minutes won't cost you much. It might cost a life for them. We never know, we will when we will come across such a person, or maybe there is a person in this group who is wanting to listen to these things, and I don't know. So if at all there is someone, I'm just saying, it is okay. It is okay to be yourself. It is okay to be wrong. It is okay to be, you know, financially dependent. It is okay to be broke. It is okay to not be knowledgeable. You will learn. Time will answer everything. And I don't think it is necessary for you or me or anyone to put the other person down, because we don't know what they're going through. You might be bad at what they are good at, maybe. So I think as a society, be kind to people. I mean, even on social media, it's avoiding social media is one thing. Everybody is not a saint to do that. Everybody's on social media. Some people are taking up professions which are related to social media, like digital content creators. They cannot be away from social media. But what we can do is be kind to each other, listen out to each other, and probably hear out when somebody is in need. Even if it is just for attention, let it be. 10 minutes is not going to cost you much. Kind words are not going to cost you much. So I think that's all that I have to say about it. Treat depression like any other disease. They are not okay.
Yes,
And
thank you
they're
so
not the
much.
attention seeking.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And we all need to understand that change starts from within us only. So first we need to change, and we need to care. We need to be considerate towards other people. Only then the change will come in our society. Thank you so much, Advi. It was like hearing your experience makes me think again. Thank you so much. Celine, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, like I thank you so much, Adri, for bringing out this, yeah, because all these stories or live, uh, when we listen to people, we can understand. Like some of us, we don't know what it is. We are just talking through what we've read and what we've understood from secondhand sources, but witnessing it firsthand actually makes us understand how real this shit is, if you put it bluntly. So yeah, and about the judgmental thing, like it is actually our society is very we judge people on many accounts, and many of these things, many of people many people go through mental health issues because they are being judged, or because because they are not being understood or treated well, or the most basic thing is to hear someone out. When we are not doing it, we are not humans, because uh, it won't take us much time to understand. Just give our 5 minutes to someone else. It won't. And giving them without any judgment, without any judging, because when you're listening, when you're being approached by someone, they just want you to listen to them. Okay, they don't want your opinions. They don't want that you should have done this better, or you should have done that better, because somehow some most of the people know what should have been done, or if there is something that is if it's guilt that is eating them, so they know they should have done something else, but they did something else. So they just need they just need a response, like understanding ear, and to listen to things, and without being judgy about things. So yeah.
Yes, yes. Anshuman?
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story, Adavi. Uh, sure, it was really painful for you to witness all of that. I did that the what you discussed. Uh, you mentioned some really important point about how minimal the telltale signs are, and like even from the case that I know of, it's usually just like the person is just low, and then also another sign is that the person stops dressing up or brushing or bathing, and the person mostly just lies in one place corner of the house, the whole day, that's definitely a telltale sign to me. And yeah, I mean, maybe you guys can also let me know what signs you guys have personally noticed, like without going into much detail, as much as you guys are comfortable sharing. Yeah, so according to me, these signs are like very like if you see someone in a state like that, I think it should be a cause for alarm. Yeah.
See, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't listen to your name, but yeah, this is one point. Yes, but the ones that you're talking about, the ones who dress up shabby, don't be don't contain AIDS. These are the fighters of depression. These are the people who fight depression, who are letting you know with bigger signs. But the subtle signs that we talk about are the ones, the people around you who are roaming around, smiling, posing to pictures. You know, the person, my brother was actually posting on Instagram the day before this happened. So it is you will be clueless with what you see outside. The people you see, as you said, the social media is all fake. The smile that you see in those pictures are not real, and it's very difficult for you because he used to dress up really well. He used to really present himself well. He has like a wardrobe full of clothes, and he has matching phone cases for all it takes. So and it was all recent. This was all in February, so it was not too long before he was gone. But you know, the subtle signs that we are talking about is the ones which we think or mistake for attention seeking or sadness. Because sometimes we just think he is not stable today. Maybe something went wrong in his office. No, this is a continuous sign. And then somebody keeps telling you, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. It's not for attention. At least, even if it is for attention, 5 minutes is not going to cost you much. Or, you know, not being judgy or giving suggestions, that would really help because all they need is for you to hear them out. And somebody to tell them, you're doing okay, you're fine, you are right. Maybe they're wrong, maybe they're making mistakes, but that's not what they want to hear at that point because they feel they don't have anyone around or they distance themselves from others. Their signs are very subtle that it will come out as a joke, as you mentioned. It comes out as a joke, as in I'm depressed, so what kind of jokes. You'll never really not get it. It's very hard to get it, but when you look at their face, it's easy to find out. When you look at someone's face and you feel they're not okay, it is okay to go and ask, hey, you look dull today, what happened? So these are the kind of things that really make them feel better, and I wish I was there to do that, but I was not around. But the signs are very subtle, guys, and you can't keep looking for signs. You just be kind to people around. With or without depression, it doesn't cost much. Because as a society, we are the social media. If you really see, it is not someone else. It is not some other party from other country who's doing this to us. It is all us. And just I think this change starts when we start behaving well on social media. I don't think there is anything else that could cause this. And you don't have to always be right or win an argument. So
True.
thank you,
True.
guys.
Yeah. Also, people who lose interest in everything. Nothing makes them excited, or they don't have interest in anything or anyone. Also, tend to lose interest in life. Yeah, Celine, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to like add to her Adri's point. Say, so yeah, like hearing people out and you know, what I wanted to say is like the confidence of someone who's going through mental health issues is very low. When people such as these, they don't they're not sure about these things. Sure about anything, any decision. They're constantly second guessing themselves. Constantly going through. Is this right? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And things like these. And mental health is not something that crops up overnight. Like there are very very few things, very few issues that immediately puts you into depression. Most of the people who are suffering from depression are like, it is the result of small small things that are adding up to their pile. And they're not saying it to others, or maybe they are saying it and no one is listening to them, and they are like bottling it up. And when that bottle is like ready to burst, that is when things starts to crack. So letting things not reach that point is something that, it may be very simple, अरे आज बॉस के साथ झगड़ा हो गया, या आज बॉस ने मेरे को बहुत सुनाया और मेरे को नहीं अच्छा लगा, like things like these, like normal after work issues, that if we just hear them out, and and the person does not have to bottle it up inside themselves, so that can go a long way towards towards preventing such issues from happening.
Yeah. Also, reading signs is one thing. Many a times happens that someone comes up to us and we don't take them seriously. We just avoid them. We say like, "I understand how you feel." No, you don't understand how you feel. He's going through suicidal thoughts. You don't understand how you feel. Some say like, other people have it worse. At least you have a roof over your head or food or water. Yet you are still suicidal. These are not the things we should
That is the
say.
worst, actually.
या तुम्हारे पास तो रहने को खाना है, छत है, पानी है, फिर भी तुम ऐसा कर रहे हो, ये सब। और फिर थिंक अबाउट योर फैमिली और फ्रेंड्स, व्हाट वुड दे फील इफ यू डाई, लाइक ही इज ऑलरेडी डिप्रेस्ड, यू आर you know making him feel more painful about the decision he is making. Or sometimes people say like, don't be selfish. He's not being selfish. He's he's that edge of his life, like he wants to end it. Or people make jokes about it, like, how, why are you feeling suicidal or anything. Like, these are the worst when you can say to someone who comes up to you having suicidal thoughts. um, you know what you can say is like, I don't know how you feel, but you will find me there when you need me. I'll be always with you. I'll support you with every decision. I'll seek help for them. Those are the things you can do. Making trash jokes, or passing comments, or these things won't help. These things only will make it worse, right? Yeah, anyone wants to add something about this? Yes, yes, Anshuman, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to yeah, just talk about the points that Adavi mentioned, that you know so like, as she mentioned, like sometimes there can be no signs at all, and it can still happen without anyone knowing. So in a case like that, I do wonder what sort of precaution or step can be taken. Like, is there some way of, if there is such a case where somebody is not displaying like, signs which are like, aside from minimal and glaringly obvious, when there are no signs, I just wonder what can actually be done. It's just an open question to all of you.
I don't. Yeah, someone else was going.
I think none of us
Yeah,
have the answer to that.
I think that, like most of the cases, we do get subtle signs. There's nowhere like, at least how much the cases are, like not cases, but how much I've read suggests to me that there are subtle signs, some signs to show, to make us wonder. That will be very subtle attitude changes. You know, that person will start giving up very easily, or maybe just keep on accepting something, like when people uh, now this is my like, this may not be true for every case, but when a person gets either shouted at, or at abused at, he won't reply to that person, or he won't counter that agreement, because he's thinking in his mind that he is actually that person. When you say that you're shit, or you're an idiot, and when that thing is constantly being said to that person, that person starts believing it. So there are these subtle attitude changes. They there will be something that will show us that will make us think. And we, at least humankind, have a very strong instinctive uh, gut feeling that we have, you know something is wrong here, something is going wrong, there's something wrong. We may not understand it fully, what it is, but that that signal from our mind, those signs may not be obvious, but our mind is processing those signs, and our mind is telling us that there is something wrong here. Just talk to that person. You get those signs sometimes, you get that signal from your brain sometimes, that just talk to that person sometime, or just go and say hi, you know or just wave to that person, smile at that person. Just a small smile can bring a huge difference to a person's life. So yeah, that is what I can read and understand, that there may be
Yeah.
cases otherwise.
Also, it's not a sudden act of having suicidal thoughts. It's a series of events that makes a person do or attempt suicide. So we need to care about people around us, and constantly talk about things that we feel that the person might be having issues with. So yeah, I guess that would be the sign, I guess. Also, there are many movies or cinema that portray suicide as good as bad. That's another topic that will take another 1 hour if we go to cinema. So we will keep it aside for this time. But yeah, art is also a thing that could help to bring the change that we want in our society regarding this thing. Yeah, so any other points? I think we have discussed enough about this. Yeah, ma'am, Adhi ma'am, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madhu. So, talking about the signs, we generally only people who are close to you can find signs with. It is impossible for you to know if I'm depressed or not from what I see or how I behave with people. It is impossible to guess. So instead of looking for signs, I think it would be best to be kind to as much as possible with people, and if not necessary, not give a negative opinion about how they behave or what they do. It is unnecessary. So we try to be kind at one thing, and if people are close to you, the first sign that you can see is sleeplessness. I can guarantee that. So that's something that you can look for. But if people are not close to you, so instead of guessing if this person has a depression or not, or going by zeros and ones, just be generically kind to people. And it's not necessary that you have to be kind only to people who are depressed. Otherwise you have to be normal with them, and this quality of politeness has to be imbibed in us. It is not that I have to bring that mood on when I see a depressed person, because it is invisible. It is 99.999% invisible. Only the ones they're close to will at least know that they're not okay. Otherwise, you can't see. Look at my face and find. How many people knew that Sushant Singh Rajput was depressed? Nobody knew. It was a shocker, and the next day morning he's no more, and it is a shocker. We never know, and it's impossible to guess. So, in general, we don't know how many depressed people we come across, and we don't even know how many people we saved. We might have been a cause for someone living today. We don't know, but just that act of kindness and being there for them without judgment. You don't have to spend a day with them, or keep listening to them all day. That's not what we want, because you can easily find out with time. You can easily figure out the difference between an attention seeker and an actual trouble person in trouble. And the signs, if you talk about, they are completely opposite. Sometimes some people shut themselves inside four walls, but the other ones actually fight with the whole world, because inside their head they're so fucked up. So you never know. The signs are totally opposite in these cases. You might think that the person is aggressive and he needs some schooling. He has behavioral issues, but he's actually going through something internally which he's not able to understand, and that comes out as aggression to some people, and that goes into sadness for some people. So instead of looking for these signs, what I'm requesting, or say, asking you all, is to be kind to the people around you without any expectation. I know it's difficult when somebody really gets onto your nerves. It's really hard to keep your mouth shut and not say anything hurtful, but sometimes they might not be okay, and it's a sign of depression, fighting with the whole world, that unnecessarily insulting people. We don't know. So let's cut those arguments, unnecessary arguments. That will also save a lot of time from us. There's no need for you to go and type a 10-page comment on Facebook because someone called you something. We don't even know if that person will exist the next day. So it's better to be kind in general and refrain from making harsh comments unless and until it's absolutely necessary. We don't see politicians or great leaders or good people doing it because they know, the words are very strong and it has a great impact on the other side. It can never be taken back. So I think that is one thing that we'll all have to be mindful about. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, truly said, ma'am. So I think we have, for today's session, we have discussed various aspects of suicide. Any ending points anyone wants to mention? Yeah, Anshuman.
Yeah, thank you to everyone for attending this event. Thank you so much for all of the points that you guys brought up. It's been a very insightful discussion indeed. And thank you, Adavi, for sharing your personal story with us. And we'll definitely be mindful of the things that you've mentioned. Thank you for attending the event.
Yes, thank you each and every one of you for joining today. It was very sensitive topic, and we discussed various aspects of it. And I think we have all learned to care about everyone, to be polite to everyone, to be considerate about everyone. Just small acts can make a huge difference. Thank you so much for joining in today, and yeah, be polite and be considerate. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.